Alexis Megna. Here's my ID for proof. I have 3 lovely audience live members with me right now, and my sister Morgan Megna and her boyfriend Elmer, all the way from Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. So, it all started about a year ago. I was a freshman at the University of Florida, and I was feeling a bit hungry after studying one day. So I went to the dining hall, and I was in the mood for something a little healthier. And I saw some Brussels sprouts, so I grabbed some, and I thought they would be delicious. They looked fine, but one bite into those raw things and unseasoned sprouts, and I puked. But ever since then, I sought to make the perfect Brussels sprout recipe. And I'm no cook, and professional cook at least, no Gordon Ramsay in any way. But I do cook for my mom and dad, who are both disabled, and they haven't kicked me out yet. So, the purpose of my speech today is to demonstrate how to make honey sriracha Brussels sprouts in the air fryer. So it all starts with step 1. You gotta preheat the air fryer. Now, you gotta preheat the air fryer to 390 degrees Fahrenheit in order for those things to get a little warm. And also actually make sure the air fryer is on, because I've made that mistake. And they're all different, and you just need to make sure your model is used to how you're knowing how to do it. And if you don't have an air fryer, no problem. You can easily make this recipe in an oven. It'll just take a little bit longer, probably twice as long. Step 2, you must prepare and garnish the sprouts. Now, in order to prepare it, you must cut the sprouts in half and cut the stems off, as the picture shows below. That way it gets nice and evenly cooked. Second, you want to add seasoning to your sprouts. This is really all up to you and your taste glands. Because if you like a lot of olive oil, you could dump in an olive oil. You can add tons of salt, pepper, lemon juice, honey. It's really all up to you and your taste buds. And run your hands through the sprouts in a mixing bowl to make sure the seasoning gets everywhere. No sprout needs to be missed out. Step 3, cook the sprouts in the air fryer and place them. We want to make sure every sprout in the air fryer is a little further away from each other, like no stacked sprouts. And we must cook them for 15 minutes on 390 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you like them a little crispier like I do, I would recommend cooking them for 20 minutes. Lastly, step 4, we gotta make the sauce. Now, how we make the sauce is we get a frying pan, and you take the sriracha and at least cover the whole frying pan in sauce. If you want to make more, totally up to you. Drizzle some honey in and place the frying pan on medium to high heat. Let it just skillet over and let it bubble. I recommend doing it for 3 to 5 minutes, because if it's too long, it will burn the sauce a little bit. When you gotta take the mixture off the stove, and you can either drizzle the sauce for the sprouts, or you could dunk them. It's whatever you want. And voila! Boom! You're done. Wasn't that easy? To sum up what I've just talked about, we talked to, first of all, how to preheat the air fryer. Secondly, how we prepare, garnish, and cut the sprouts. Third, we talked about how we actually put them in the air fryer. And lastly, we talked about making that delicious sauce that'll make you just rave about it for days. So now, I'll show you the finished product. Does it look good?
Yummy.
Wow.
Yum.
Now we will have a brief 2-minute Q&A session. So please ask me any questions. Yes, Jeremy?
Where would you recommend getting the resources for this recipe for your Brussels sprouts?
That is a really good question. I would give you the generic question, just go to the grocery store. But I will honestly say, the best Brussels sprouts I've had comes from Trader Joe's. And they're really not that expensive. You can get them for 99 cents a bundle sometimes. That's cheap, especially for a college student. Yes, JP?
Where did you obtain this recipe?
This recipe was actually kind of created by a woman named Susan C. at Kleinsworth and Company, and that is where I obtained the recipe. There are many variations of this recipe, but she's the one I followed for the air frying recipe because you can make these in so many different ways, but her recipe seemed the truest, so I followed it.
How many servings does it serve for people?
Well, good question that you ask, Morgan, because if you got a big stomach like me, something like 1 bag of Brussels sprouts may only give you 2 servings. So I recommend if you do go to the store to maybe buy a couple of bundles of Brussels sprouts, at least a bag or 2. Anybody else have a question?
I got one more.
Yes, Jeremy?
What is the kind of air fryer that you're using for this recipe?
That's a great question. I use the Chefman air fryer, and there's a lot of fryers out there, like the Ninja air fryer. There's actually an Instapot to an air fryer, and that's a little excessive. This one was just very cheap at Target, actually, so you could get it and try it out yourself.
All right.
All right, that's all the time we have. That was 2 minutes Q&A. Thank you all for joining me, and let's eat. Who's hungry?
We are.